A History of the WWE Part 2. Welcome back. As we've gone over in the first video, we have seen the history of the WWE from the 1950s through the 1990s. We've seen the organization start from Capital Wrestling Corporation through the 50s and 60s and become the World Wrestling Federation, or the WWF, in the 1980s. Also, the rise and fall of superstars like Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, and the rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, China, The Undertaker, and D-Generation X. We've also seen the rise of programming like Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and the company going public in 1999. Now, let's take a journey through the WWE from the 2000s to the 2020s. The 2000s. The decade where The Rock became a Hollywood star with movies like Scorpion King, Gridiron Gang, and Walking Tall. Let's not forget about The Longest Yard, an Adam Sandler comedy about a washed-up football player going to prison, featuring Goldberg, Kevin Nash, and Stone Cold. In movies like Spider-Man, just your friendly neighborhood Spidey, and Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh yeah! Sorry about that. In the last video, we established terms like heel, a villain archetype wrestler, and the face, a hero archetype. However, let me introduce the term kayfabe, which is the portrayal of characters and events as real or true. Keep in mind for this later. In January of 2000, Triple H beat The Big Show for the WWF Championship, and from there grew into a superstar heel. He would hold on to the title for 4 months and even successfully defended at WrestleMania 16, which was the first time in history a heel kept the championship at WrestleMania. Also, his wife Stephanie McMahon would win the Women's Championship belt, and together they would become a power couple in the organization. With Triple H's newfound glory, he would take a break from D-Generation X, and thus was the first time the group split up. In March of 2000, SmackDown the Game was released on PlayStation, and in November of 2000, No Mercy the Game on Nintendo 64 was released. Now, you can play as your favorite wrestler and enact violence from the comfort of your home, or maybe a friend's house. In 2001, the business was booming. The organization was making more money than ever before. Within 3 years since going public, revenues from live events, television programming, and pay-per-view programming doubled. Check out these numbers. In 1999, the company made $170 million. In 2000, $265.5 million, and in 2001, $335 million. In 2001, Vince McMahon purchased the WCW, its competitor company, its trademarks, video libraries, and some contracts of their wrestlers. And of course, Vince McMahon adds the purchase into the WWF storyline by calling it The Invasion from WCW, in which they brought over some of WCW's wrestlers. Some talent included Booker T, Diamond Dallas Page, Torrie Wilson, and Stacy Keibler, who would go on to manage one of the greatest tag teams to ever touch the ring. And I'm talking about the Dudley Boys. And if you disagree with that, you'll get put through a f***ing table. The duo consisted of Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley. They had a finishing move called the 3D, in which one would toss their opponent into the air, and the other would grab their head and send them crashing through a f***ing table. They would win the Tag Team Championship 5 times in 2001. In March of 2002, the wrestling roster had grown so much from the WCW merger that the WWF would split its roster between its 2 shows, Raw and SmackDown. The company introduced a draft to sort the wrestlers between the two shows. In May of 2002, following a legal dispute with the World Wildlife Fund, the WWF changed its name to World Wrestling Entertainment, now the WWE. In July of 2002, the WWE launched WWE Films, a movie studio to create films with wrestlers and well-known actors. Some of the movies it helped produce were The Scorpion King, The Rundown, both movies starring The Rock. In 2002, 3 amateur wrestlers would join the WWE that would grow to become some of the WWE's greatest superstars: Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Randy Orton. Brock Lesnar, a 6'3" Viking of a man that was promoted as an unstoppable force. He would feud with legends like The Undertaker, The Rock, and The Big Show. His finisher is the F5, where he would place his opponent on his shoulders and swing them to the ground like a worthless sack of shit. John Cena. In his first match, he faced off against Kurt Angle after Angle made an open call for amateur wrestlers. Cena's persona would develop into that of a rapper, rapping before promos and wearing hip-hop style clothing. His catchphrase is, "You can't see me." And his finisher was the FU, where he would place his opponent on his shoulders and throw them onto the ground like a worthless piece of Hey, wait a minute. Why does that finisher look familiar? Oh well. Randy Orton would grow to become one of the greatest off-and-on heels in company history. He called himself the Legend Killer early in his career by feuding with legends like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, and Mankind, and later John Cena and Triple H. His signature move? The RKO, where he would grab his opponent by the head and send him crashing face first into the ground. This move would grow to become one of the greatest memes in internet history. However, we'll get to that later. In 2003, The Rock would briefly return from his Hollywood career to feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin, this time as his persona, the Hollywood Rock. This version of The Rock would insult the cities he was in, making epic promos.
Don't get mad at The Rock, because The Rock's good friend Shaquille O'Neal called him the Sacramento Queens now. Okay.
This build-up to a battle at WrestleMania with Stone Cold. The Rock would win this fight, and Austin would retire soon after. Then, in 2004, The Rock retired to pursue his career in Hollywood. In 2005, at WrestleMania 21, John Cena would win his first WWE Championship against John Bradshaw, or JBL. It was at this point he would become the face of the company. As the new champion, Cena wanted everyone to recognize how much of a gangster he was. So, he customized the championship belt to spin like spinning wheels, therefore stunting on all of his haters. However, a couple of years after this, he would change his persona to a more positive, all-American hero type. In 2006, CM Punk joined the WWE. And 2 years later, in 2008, he would win the World Heavyweight Championship against Edge. His persona was outspoken and straight to the point, and he would continue to grow in popularity. In 2007, the WWE started its YouTube channel and Twitter account. Although the company had its own website for years, this marked the beginning of its social media history. In 2008, WWE Films changed its name to WWE Studios. In June of 2008, the WWE Divas Championship belt was created on SmackDown for women under the SmackDown brand. And at the Great American Bash of that year, Michelle McCool became the inaugural Divas Champion, defeating Natalya. The 2010s. The era with movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, a Marvel movie featuring Batista. Fast and Furious 5, featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Hobbs and Shaw, starring Jason Statham. Idris Elba and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson again. Wait a minute, is that Roman Reigns? It is. In Grown Ups 2, another Adam Sandler comedy featuring Stone Cold. The 2010s saw the rise of social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now people could find their favorite wrestlers online and follow them. Also, the company continued growing its online presence and putting wrestlers' Twitter handles in their intros. The kayfabe of wrestling was dying. Also, during this time, the WWE was transitioning into a more family-friendly company. It was now a PG-rated promotion. And John Cena's FU finisher will now be the Attitude Adjustment.
Baloney, fudge, and mustard! My life is being ruined by the internet!
In 2010, WWE started the NXT TV series, where they paired up WWE's rookie wrestlers with well-known established pro wrestlers from the main roster. The established wrestlers would mentor the rookie wrestlers. Some current big-name wrestlers that came out of the NXT were the Usos and Roman Reigns. This version of the show lasted for 2 years. In 2011, John Cena and CM Punk, two of the most popular wrestlers at that time, would feud over the WWE Championship. However, John Cena would also start an epic feud with the People's Champ, The Rock. Cena would drop promos on The Rock for disappearing from the WWE for several years and returning as a part-timer, and The Rock will respond with his own epic promos, becoming one of the greatest feuds of the decade.
Specific. It's because I wasn't talking trash, Rock. I was talking truth. You left us hanging high and dry to play a fairy with a tooth?
You can't shame me! I'm about to spit something stupid, yeah!
Now that's entertaining. In 2012, Roman Reigns made his main roster debut as a member of the group called The Shield. The Shield was a dominating group for a few years before going their separate ways. Roman would grow to become one of the greatest heels in company history. His finishing moves are the spear and a Superman punch, where he jumps in the air and disrespectfully punches the hell out of his opponent, which actually reminds me of the Falcon Punch from Super Smash Bros. Moving on. Also, in 2012, at WrestleMania 28 in Miami, The Rock and John Cena would finally square off in the main event. It was an electrifying match, in which Cena would hit The Rock with a couple of attitude adjustments and mock The Rock's people's elbow. However, The Rock would use the Rock Bottom and eventually win the match. The event itself was one of the highest grossing WrestleManias in WWE history, with an estimated 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. In April of 2013, at WrestleMania 29, John Cena and The Rock would face off again for the WWE Championship. However, this time, Cena would win. In 2014, at WrestleMania 30, Undertaker defended his 20-year undefeated WrestleMania streak against Brock Lesnar. Lesnar would hit Taker with the F5, and Taker would lose and break his undefeated WrestleMania streak. This loss, along with The Rock's loss to Cena at WrestleMania 29 the year before, marked the end of the Attitude Personalities. In 2014, a meme was born that took the internet by storm. Yes, I'm talking about Randy Orton RKO out of nowhere. Videos were popping up on Vine and YouTube of people falling and an imposed Randy Orton RKOing them. The meme was a combination of a match with Randy Orton and Matt Hardy in 2005.
Got out of the way. Matt Hardy crashed and burned.
And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
And a 2013 soccer match between Real Madrid versus Juventus, where Arturo Vidal tripped and fell. The internet combined Randy Orton RKOing in the announcers' voices with Arturo Vidal falling, and history was made.
Last ride! Oh, my God! Look at this! Missed one hand!
No one was safe. Singers, bikers, bodybuilders, presidents, Shaq.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Even other soccer teams were getting in on the action. All of them victims of the RKO. Also, in 2014, the group The New Day was formed. A tag team trio consisting of Xavier Woods, Big E, Kofi Kingston. They would go from a church singing heel tag team to the power of positivity fan favorites over the years. Their promos and in-ring antics made them popular with the crowd. In 2015 at SummerSlam, they would win the tag team championship and become the longest tag team championship reign in company history at 483 days. In 2016, the Divas division was rebranded as the Women's Division, and the company introduced a new WWE Women's Championship and retired the former Divas Championship. Female superstars also began receiving more airtime for their matches. Also, in 2016, the WWE's YouTube channel reached 10 million subscribers and received YouTube's Diamond Play button. By the end of 2016, company revenues were estimated at $729 million. In 2018, Ronda Rousey signed on with the WWE after retiring from MMA. She debuted at WrestleMania 34 in a mixed tag team match consisting of Rousey and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Later that year, she would face Alexa Bliss for the Women's Championship belt at SummerSlam and win the title. In 2019, the NXT promotion was brought back, but this time revamped into a 2-hour program with its own roster of wrestlers and title belts. It debuted on the USA Network and would become the third WWE promo next to Raw and SmackDown. The 2020s. The decade that brought us Suicide Squad, starring John Cena. Black Adam, starring The Rock. Fast and Furious 9, featuring John Cena. Jungle Cruise, starring The Rock. Oh, I get it. Now that they're not competing in the ring, they're competing at the box office. And let's not forget about Fast X, featuring John Cena. And let's be real, at this point, the Fast and Furious franchise is in competition with Adam Sandler in WWE Studios in getting these wrestlers paid. In 2020, due to the pandemic, WrestleMania 36 was the first WrestleMania not to be filmed in front of a live crowd. It was filmed on March 25th and 26th at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. This marked the first time the event was broadcast over 2 nights. It was also the most viewed event in WWE history, with over 960 million views. In 2020, Roman Reigns would face off against Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship belt. He would win the belt and become the reigning champion. Reigns would team up with the Usos, which would become the dominating group known as the Bloodline, in which Reigns would sit as the head of the table, becoming one of WWE's longest heel reigning champions at over 1,100 days, and as of 2023, still is the reigning champion. In 2021, WWE reached $1 billion in revenue for the first time in company history. Also, in 2021, LA Knight joined the roster, debuting on the NXT promotion. His personality would develop into a charismatic trash talker, and over the course of 2 years, he would grow into a fan favorite. His finisher is the BFT, which is similar to the RKO, where he grabs the opponent's head and crashes it into the ground. However, stop the show. The most important aspect about LA Knight is that he never forgot about Dre.
But also, with everybody saying, actually comes from Let Me Ride by Dr. Dre on the Chronic album.
And let that serve as a reminder that you don't ever, and I mean ever, forget about Dre. Now back to the video. In July of 2022, Vince McMahon announced his retirement via Twitter, saying, "At 77, time for me to retire. Thank you, WWE Universe. Then, now, forever, together." Vince McMahon's daughter, Stephanie McMahon, would take over as interim co-CEO and chairwoman for a year. Then, in 2023, she stepped down as chairwoman and co-CEO, and Vince McMahon will return as TKO executive chairman and Nick Khan as president. Also, as of 2023, the WWE's YouTube channel has become the 10th most subscribed to channel in the world, amassing over 97 million subscribers. The WWE has been a staple of entertainment in American culture for several decades, and is still going quite strong after all these years. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And this has been another episode of The Voice of Rhino.